Hey everybody, it's Janice with Creating to Chaos. I'm going to start this project off with these 1-gallon paint stirrers that I got at Lowe's. And I'm just going to line them up. And I did them like the opposite, so the skinny end at one end and then the fat end at the other. And I just kind of flip-flop them so that once I have them all lined up and make it as big as I want, I'm going to take another 3 of them and I'm going to glue those to the back. But I'm going to cut them down to size first. So I'm going to put 1 here. I'm going to mark off where I need to cut it. And then I'm going to give that a trim. And then I'm going to do that with all 3 of them. And I'm going to glue those across once they're all trimmed. And that will hold the rest of this sign together. And I did 1 on each side and then 1 in the center for some more stability. And I'm just holding those flush to make sure that the glue hits every single one of the paint sticks to hold it really tightly. So once I have those all on there and already my sign is finished here, and now I can use my antique wax and I'm just going to stain the whole thing using that. And I used my, like a sponge applicator to put it on. And then for the little openings on each one of the paint sticks, I used a paintbrush to get the wax in there. So once I have that all waxed, I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And I'm going to grab this leaf from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut off the tag and pull off that raffia bow. And then I am going to paint the center leaf with the color light buttermilk. Or white. It doesn't really matter as long as it's a lighter color. And just right now, I'm only painting the center part. I'm not painting the outer edge yet. Once I have that all painted, I'm going to take some Mod Podge and put it over, again, just this center piece of the leaf. Making sure I get a nice, even, thin coat. And really focusing on all those edges and the little points. Making sure that that's got enough Mod Podge on it. Once I have all that Mod Podge on, I'm going to just let that dry. Now that it's all dry, I'm going to take this leaf napkin and I'm going to lay that right over that center part. Kind of press it down, and then I am going to use some parchment paper. I'm going to lay that right over it, and then my iron on high heat with no steam. And I'm just going to go over that and make sure that it's very well stuck. And I'm making sure I'm getting those points that are on the leaf. And then once I have that all on there, I'm just going to kind of trim off the excess here so that I can see what I'm doing when I go to sand it. So I'm just kind of pulling off those extra. And I always keep these little pieces because you never know when you're going to use them. Some little project, you could definitely get use of that. So I'm going to grab a nail file and I'm going to go in and just sand off that excess all the way around that center part. And it actually went really fast with the nail file. Once I have it all sanded, I'm going to take this golden color. It's called Marigold. And I'm going to paint the outside edge with that all the way around the leaf. And I did this by just taking my napkin. I put it up against my paints. That's how I picked the color. And I just kind of pulled one of the yellows out, or the golden colors of the leaf, and matched it up to my paints. And that's how I ended up with this color. But it is called Marigold. I do end up filling the hole that's on the stem of the leaf. So you may want to do that before you start all of this process. I didn't think about it until after, because it's hard when you're making a video to remember every little step. So I did end up filling it, but I did it after I put it on the sign. So doing it now would probably be the best bet. So again, just finishing off this painting. And I'm doing just the leaf. I didn't do the sides or anything because they're already like a stained color. So once that was all dry, I'm just going to take a sander, and I kind of went around the edges of it just to kind of make it look a little bit more rustic. I am going to wax over this, but when I sand around the paint, a lot of people ask me why I do that. When I sand around the paint, I want it so that the wax hits the unfinished wood and not the paint because it does give it a little bit of a different color. So you can skip this step if you don't care about the little tedious parts. So now I'm just going to take my antique wax and I'm going to go around the whole leaf. And I'm just getting those edges. And then I also did a little bit on the inside leaf as well. Just kind of putting it where I wanted it. And I think this is already turning out so super pretty. I love this napkin and the leaf. It all kind of flowed together and it's just beautiful. So I'm going to glue that right to the board that I made with the paint sticks. I'm just going to use a lot of hot glue here and then glue that down. And I kind of tilted it a little bit, so I didn't put it straight. And I'm just going to press that down. And here's where I show you that I did end up filling in the hole. And now I'm just going to take a couple pieces of greenery that I had that came on a pick from, I want to say it was Joann's. I just pulled the greenery off of it. It had like a sunflower and then these two pieces of greenery. So I pulled out these two pieces of greenery. I'm going to glue those right underneath the stem here. And then I'm going to add this raffia bow. And I'm going to put that right in the center here. I'm just going to hold that in place until it sets. And then I did trim up the tails of the bow a little bit. I didn't do it too much though because I kind of liked the little longer pieces. So I just kind of trimmed them to make sure that they were all even. And then I did end up drilling 2 holes at the top of the sign. And then I'm just going to run a piece of twine through that and then tie them off in knots on the front. You can tie the knots off in the back. I got asked why I do the knots in the front because I just like the way it looks. Kind of adds to the rustic vibe of it. And then just, again, just pushing them through and then tying them off. And that is it for this project. I think this turned out so super cute. I absolutely love the way the leaf turned out. It's got such beautiful colors and just reminds me so much of fall. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope it inspires you to make one. And as always, don't forget to spread the chaos.